Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, former President Olusegun Obasanjo sets agenda for incoming administration, says Nigeria has never been so divided like now. Residents of Daiki-Biu count losses as demolition hits Abuja community. 46 people killed in fresh attack on Benue community. And on the international scene, 9 suspected armed robbers killed in shootout with South African police. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. The news in detail. With May 29th fast approaching, Nigerians are focused on how the next administration can better their lot by enhancing the country's economic fortunes. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo believes that to achieve this objective, there must be a deliberate attempt by the next government to foster national reconciliation. The former president spoke in Abuja on Thursday. Noel Sampson reports.
A vast number of Nigerians are in agreement that the 2023 elections have led to a widening division along the country's ethnic and religious fault lines, lead to a yawning disunity amongst citizens. So persons believe there is no one more qualified than President Olusegun Obasanjo to prefer solutions to the very worrisome development.
With the imperative of national value reorientation that Nigeria requires to build a collective sense of enduring and noble values and national belonging. 2. Governance in Nigeria now calls for thinking outside the box in terms of development financing. It has become inevitable in the face of Nigeria's dwindling fortune in oil revenue, Nigeria's huge foreign indebtedness, and the urgency of diversifying Nigeria's monocultural economy. We cannot be spending like drunken sailors on frivolities and corruption and expect development and growth. Such situation cannot take us into the 4th industrial revolution already underway or prepare us for the 5th.
The former president also speaking on what the incoming administration should do to deliver a more responsive governance style that will address the yearnings of Nigerians. This is where reforms comes in.
My deep insight about the operational logic of the bureaucracy derives first from my military background. And by the time I resumed as president in a democratic dispensation in 1999, I was already convinced from my rich experience in governance about the great benefits a focused government could derive from a capability-ready and professionalized civil service deployed to the imperatives of democratic governance.
As Nigerians earnestly await the incoming administration, there is a growing consensus that there must be a paradigm shift that will enable the achievement of sustained long-term economic growth and employment, changes in income distribution, and improved access to basic needs. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Bulldozers of the Federal Capital Development Authority on Thursday left hundreds of Daiki-Biu in Jabi, the residents, homeless after pulling down their marked buildings as part of efforts to preserve the original master plan of the nation's capital. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman went to the demolition site and reports that victims of the exercise say they were taken unawares as most of them were at work only to return to meet the remains of their structures with properties looted by hoodlums. The report.
All you can see here is the ruins of the recent demolition exercise here at Jabi Daiki Biu, where bulldozers of the Federal Capital Authority, demolish a number of houses. As you can see, the houses here have been flattened by bulldozers. And of course, the victims of the exercise are everywhere, salvaging what they can salvage out of the ruins of their houses. It's a very rowdy situation and pathetic, with victims of this recent demolition exercise, finding it difficult to cope with this devastation. Some of them have left for work only to come back and discover that their houses have been pulled down by these bulldozers. There are families with children who are also rendered homeless as a result of this exercise. It has become almost a routine here in Jabi and other places where you can find perhaps buildings that are done by people who are not given the necessary approvals to do so.
Last time they come, they just mark the houses. So they just come this morning. We just wake up this morning. We come here say, when we come pack our things. So before we know, now they come demolish everything. Nothing. Nobody give us anything. We spend our money to build houses here. Nobody, they not give us anything for here.
Even though the house is not approved, suppose say you are a citizen of this country as a Nigeria by birth, then you are entitled because this is a federal capital.
One of my neighbors, this man, this is my neighbor, he call me, Madam Gunners, you dey here see demolition dey come, or say Dogini, demolition, my con dey for fire dey burn as e dey hot now, e dey cook pokotokotoko. Now I just come, I say wetin happen before I see people just dey carry kaya dey waka. I say shoo, I don see this one before o, no be my first time o. Wetin me I wan try to talk with say now, this one I do like this e good.
This is my room, it's safe con. This is my kitchen and this is my bathroom. There is nothing to get. I have to dig ground to get clothes. And right now, my clothes, all the clothes I dig ground to get, I can't even wear any of them. Right now, I'm so frustrated that I don't even have what to change and wear as a woman. Where do I start from? And I'm a stranger here, no family here. I just come here to work and survive.
The families you can see behind me are rendered homeless. You can see their properties, left here. That is much they can even salvage out of the demolition exercise that took place here. Most of them with young children, of course, don't know where to go. They are calling on the authorities concerned to come to their aid. From Jabi Daiki Biu, here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Really sad one there. Now moving on, shops and business owners at UTC Complex Area 10, Garki, Abuja, have called on the Ministry of the Federal Capital Territory to find an alternative place for them before embarking on demolition exercise. Zainab Garaye reports that the FCTA has earmarked the complex for demolition.
The planned demolition of the complex came as a shock to many shop owners at the UTC complex. A cross-section of shop owners and residents said they have not been informed about the demolition, adding that if they had been informed, they would have looked for an alternative place to continue their businesses.
When we come out in the morning yesterday, we find out that they come and destroyed everything. And we went to FCDA. FCDA said that they didn't know about it. So, but today they came and look at the place and promised to come and put things in order.
Yeah, it's covered before, but it's opening now. Bad guys can jump in, break into the shop, and do one or two bad things to go outside again. We have been dragging this thing for long. The case is still in court.
Well, it affected me. I lost my tools. I lost some of my, even my colleagues, some of my colleagues, they lost their things there. Anything that happens inside this plaza, it affects everybody here, including my barrow, my carpenter, everybody inside this market will be affected.
Some shop owners also said the Federal Capital Development Authority and the private estate developing firm have interest in using the place, calling on the government to consider their plights and make alternative place available for them, provide food for their family.
I don't know what make them want to demolish it, but we are not happy about it. If they demolish it, where are we going to go?
The urban shelter is part of the defendants in court, FCDA too. But who in particular, who is the main, I don't know. So, but the main case is between the urban shelter, the shop owners, and FCDA. If we live here, That's another reason we are protesting. That it's not that we don't know that here is already old. We know. But make an arrangement for us before moving us. Where are we headed to? Where are we going to?
Urban Shelter, they want to remodel this place. They want to build new one, model one. So this building is old, is this and that. And they want to bring it down. But there's no provision for another place. So if they bring it down now, where did they want us to go?
When FCDA built here, we bought the shops. So before this place will expire at 90 something years, before FCDA will have right to resell it to another person. And it's still at something years. So I cannot take over the place which is at something years and sell it to another person.
UTC Complex is a hub for printing and artworks and computer village of sorts in Abuja. Zainab Garai, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Defense Headquarters has described the call for an interim government by some persons in the country as mischievous and unconstitutional. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Madami, said this while addressing newsmen at the bi-weekly briefing on military operations across the country on Thursday in Abuja. Madami said those calling for an interim government are trying to be mischievous, adding that the Constitution did not provide for an interim national government. Madami said the Operation Safe Conduct, which was conducted towards the successful conduct of the elections to support the police and INEC, was successful. He said the military is also ready to provide similar support towards the conduct of the remaining election in 2 states where elections were declared inconclusive. According to him, the military is still working round the clock to make sure there is peace and security in the country. Spokesperson for the 9th House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has indicated his intention to contest for the position of Speaker of the 10th Legislative House. Kalu said he is well equipped to occupy the coveted seat presently occupied by Femi Gbajabiamila, who has held sway since 2019. Benjamin Kalu is the latest ranking member to indicate interest in leading the House of Representatives. He believes Nigeria needs a diverse and sensitive leader who understands the different sentiments of the diverse people of the country so that everyone will have a sense of belonging. The lawmakers said for 40 years, the southeastern part of the country has not produced a speaker since the tenure of Honorable Edwin Ume Ezoke. He believes now is the time for the southeast to take up the gauntlet and is offering himself to lead the charge.
The energy of the new people coming on board is that energy that says we want to see freshness in governance. And that is what I'm bringing on board, transformative, legislative interventions, that is based on innovations. And it is only people like us who have been equipped that will be able to bridge that gap. From 1983 to date, we're talking about 40 years of my people not sitting on that seat. The question is why? Is it that we don't have competent people? Is it that there is no capacity to be there? And it is high time we, introduce our capacity to Nigerians, our competence to Nigerians, that 40 years, 4 decades was long enough for us to hold the gavel for the House of Representatives. We know we will do well when we occupy that position because of what we are thinking of bringing on board that will strengthen our democracy, knowing that this is the fulcrum of our democracy.
It is expected that some other lawmakers will indicate interest in days to come, each representing different interests. Moving on, the reinstated Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly, Abok Nuhu, says the Assembly will continue with its plenary despite being sealed by the police. The State Police Command on Wednesday sealed the Assembly complex to prevent a breakdown of law and order. Ado Musa completes the report.
The sealing of the House follows leadership crisis that is rocking the House after the reinstatement of the former Speaker of the House by a State High Court on Monday. A day after he was reinstated, Abok presided over plenary with 7 other members loyal to him in attendance. But soon after the plenary ended, A notice of stay of execution was brought to the clerk of the House to delay the execution of the order after the state government appealed the case at the Court of Appeal Jos on Tuesday. The situation has forced the police to seal the house, but Abok says he is going to have a session on Friday.
We are going to continue with our sitting tomorrow by 8 o'clock. But what we told the Commissioner of Police is this, that we don't understand why the lawyers representing the police are the people pursuing this case. We don't know the interest of the police on this. So now, we told him clearly they have misled the Commissioner of Police. They didn't give him the clear briefing of what is happening in the courts until when my legal counsel came in to explain to the Commissioner of Police what is happening. That judgment has been executed. So we don't know why the police are taking interest on these things.
Lawyer of the embattled speaker on his part says the judgment was a declarative. Hence, the police should not prevent his client from getting access to the house.
The judgment was delivered and executed, returning the speaker, Right Honorable Abok, back to his position as the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. That judgment and orders were executed. Indeed, the Speaker sat as the Speaker of the House of Assembly yesterday, and he was going back there to perform his duties today. Because of the, if I may say, misconception as to the position of law, the Commissioner invited us, Commissioner of Police. Now, the position is a declaratory judgment which was delivered by Justice N.L. Musa, returning the Speaker, Right Nobu Abok Ayuba, as the Speaker of the House of Assembly, is a declaratory judgment. And being a declaratory judgment, it takes effect immediately, forthwith.
Abok was impeached on October 18, 2021 because of political differences with the Governor Simon Lalong. The House thereafter elected Yakubu Sanda as the new Speaker, and since then, the Assembly has been engulfed in leadership crisis. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Still in politics, some members of the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, led by the Deputy National Chairman of the party, South, Lamidia Papa, have taken over the affairs of the party following a court judgment restraining Julius Abure and 3 others from parading themselves as national officers of the party. Apapa announced during an emergency meeting of the Labour Party National Working Committee on Thursday that he had taken over as acting national chairman, while Saleh Lowang is now the acting national secretary. According to him, Abure and the 3 others must vacate the order of the Federal High Court restraining them before further action can be taken on the leadership of the party. The emergency NWC meeting also reinstated Executive Council members from Ogun State, Rivers State and Gombe State, reversing the suspension of Eragbe Anslem as the National Youth Leader and Yomi Arabambi as the National Publicity Secretary. But in a swift reaction, Julius Abure has rejected what he described as illegitimate executive members of the Labour Party and maintained he remains the national chairman of the party. Abure accused the police of collaborating with the masterminds to gain entrance into the party secretariat in Abuja, where the decision was taken, and pointed fingers at the ruling All Progressives Congress of being behind the plot. Meanwhile, the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress has backed Abure. The All Progressives Congress has announced the expulsion of several prominent members of the party, including former Governor of Enugu State, Sullivan Chime, Director General of Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, former Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly, Eugene Odo, Flavor Eze, Joe Mamel, and Maduka Arum. The party has also suspended former Senate President Senator Ken Namani and Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema. The announcement was made on Thursday by Enugu State Secretary of the party, Robert Ngu, who presented the report of a disciplinary committee. According to Ngu, the report was ratified by an enlarged state executive committee meeting. The expelled and suspended party members are accused of engaging in anti-party activities during the 2023 general elections. They are alleged to have supported candidates from other political parties, which is a violation of party regulations. A Chief Magistrate's Court sitting in the Sabo area of Yaba, Lagos, has ordered the remand of a leader of the Igbo community, Ezendibo, Frederick Nwajagu, for allegedly threatening to bring the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra to the state. Chief Magistrate Peter Nwaka ordered that the defendant should be kept at the Ikoyi custodial facility for 30 days pending the legal advice of the state's Director of Public Prosecution. The Chief Magistrate made the order on Wednesday after Nwajagu, aged 67, was docked before the court by the police on a 2-count charge of conspiracy and conduct likely to cause a breach of public peace. The police prosecutor, SP Thomas Nuruddin, told the court that the Ezendibo and some others at large committed the offences on March 26th at Ajao Estate, contravening sections 168, subsection D, and 411 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015. Being a remand proceeding to ensure lawful detention, the plea of the defendant was not taken. The Chief Magistrate said he would await the advice of the state's DPP, Dr. Babajide Martins, on how to proceed before adjourning the case to May 3rd for mention. Now on security, at least 46 people have been reportedly killed in Umogidi village of Entekpa, Adoka district in Otukpo local government area of Benue State. The same village suffered invasion by armed men on Tuesday, during which 3 people were killed. Chairman of Otukpo local government area, Bako Eje, whose son was also killed in the latest attack, told our correspondent on telephone that the armed men surrounded the village again Wednesday evening, barely 24 hours after the first attack, and opened gunfire on the inhabitants. Eje said as of Thursday afternoon, 46 corpses have been recovered, while many people are still missing. The chairman said his son and other relatives were victims of the latest attack, which occurred about 5 p.m. on Wednesday, while mourners were burying the 3 other deceased. Trust TV reporter in Benue State, Jimmy Adzande, gives us an update.
It is a sad moment for the people of Entekpa in Adoka district of Otukpo local government area of Benue State. That's the headquarters of Idoma Land Zone C, where for twice in 1 week, precisely on Monday and of course Wednesday, there were reported attacks in that community, in the Omogidi community or village, where it is reported that over 40 persons have lost their lives, have been killed by the, invaders who actually came, and on 2 occasions and killed, at the first instance, 3 persons. While these people were being buried, they came again and attacked around 4 p.m. from what we got from, of course, the local government chairman who was actually reached and formed, who is actually also bereaved, who lost his son because he is from the local government chairman of Otukpo, is actually from that settlement. They reported that these people came into the community after the people they previously killed, were being buried. And let me confirm to you that the son of the local government chairman, a 33-year-old son of the chairman, and another of his blood relation, that is about 38 years, also lost their lives in this attack. And it's quite a sad moment. As we talk, I can confirm to you that based on what we hear from the special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Security Matters, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Hemba, he actually said, yes, this is what happened in the Omogidi community on Thursday. The casualty figure, according to him, is around 46. And the police have been, according to him, the police have been deployed to the area, to restore calm. And of course, this is also corroborated by the PPRO, Sewese Aneni, who actually also confirmed and said even some police officers were also, killed in that attack. And of course, they say 8 corpses. Said the PPRO said 8 corpses, including a police officer. But the atmosphere is not quite certain at the moment because as we talk, the chairman has confirmed that a lot of people are still missing. No one can really account for their whereabouts at the moment. So it's actually a dire situation. And we are hoping that after tonight, maybe something will come out to account for those people that were missing from the village as a result of a call. We put up a call to the, Secretary Magban, that is Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association in Benue State, Barrister Ibrahim Galma, and he denied, knowledge of the attacks. And so that's the situation. And like I said, it's a mourning moment. Government of Benue State, the moment the advisor to the governor on security, saying that the situation is under control. And of course, we are expecting that by tomorrow we'll stand a better chance to give an update. But for now, it is that, yes, this community is attacked and a good number of people were killed and some missing even to this moment, why I make this call.
In health, World Health Organization has said that many children in north-central Nigeria have not been routinely immunized due to persistent security challenges facing most of the states in the zone. The North Central Zonal Coordinator of the WHO, Dr. Asma'i Zinat Kabir, said this at the commemoration of this year's World Health Day and 75th year anniversary of the organization held in Minna, Niger's state capital. Dr. Asma'i Zinat Kabir said issues of reproductive and maternal and child-related problems remain serious challenges facing most states in the north-central zone of the country, adding that there is need for more commitment to improvement on the existing healthcare opportunities. She said a lot of progress has been recorded in the 7 decades in terms of protection of people from diseases and destruction, including eradication of smallpox, while lives of millions of children had been saved through childhood immunization, decline in maternal mortality, among others.
To realize our founding vision of the highest attainable standard of health for all people. We continue to face vast inequalities to access to health services, major gaps in the world's defenses against health emergencies, and threats from health-harming products and climate crisis. We only meet these global challenges with global cooperation. So these are his exact words in quotes. To meet these challenges, WHO is urging countries to take urgent action to protect, to support, to expand health workforce as a strategy priority, investment in education, skills and decent jobs for health need to be prioritized, which is what I heard the Commissioner saying as far as the Niger health sector is concerned.
Troops of the Nigerian Army have neutralized a total of 48 terrorists in various operations across the nation. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Amadami, who disclosed this to journalists at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, said at least 974 terrorists and their families have also surrendered to troops within the last 2 weeks. The military spokesman also revealed that the troops recovered 2.3 million naira in the northeast zone. Amadami said in the past 2 weeks, both kinetic and non-kinetic operations were conducted in various theaters of operations with significant outcomes recorded. He said troops of Operation Hatinkai in the northeast zone of the country have sustained the offensive operation to curb the activities of Boko Haram terrorists, Islamic State of West Africa province terrorists in the joint area of operations within the zone. The Madami further revealed that all recovered items and apprehended suspects have been handed over to relevant authorities for further action. Equally, the rescued terrorist escapees and members of their families have been profiled and given medical attention, while the surrendered terrorists and members of their families are being profiled for further action. Coming up after the break, armless female student defies all odds in academic pursuit. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. We told you that former President Olusegun Obasanjo sets agenda for incoming administration, says Nigeria has never been so divided like now. We also heard that residents of Daiki-Biu count losses as demolition hits Abuja community. Moving to other news, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai on Thursday hailed his counterpart in Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, for backing power rotation to southern Nigeria. El-Rufai is in Rivers State to commission the Eneka-Ibo-Eche Link Road in the Obiakpo local government area of the state. He said the people of the oil-rich South-South state voted quality over political sentiments. Governor El-Rufai explained that the PDP was unable to get 25% in Rivers State for the first time since the Fourth Republic started in 1999, saying it shows that the people of the state know when to vote for quality over political sentiments. Governor Wike, though belongs to the PDP, has been inviting APC chieftains to commission projects in Rivers State and has been openly opposed to an Atiku presidency since he lost the PDP ticket to the former vice president. There has been increased awareness on the need for more farming in Benue State to augment the loss occasioned by flood disaster and increase productivity in the food basket of the nation. In this report, Jimmy Adzande looks at the state of irrigation farming in Benue State as a complementary factor for dry season farming. The report.
A visit to the Benue River banks shows its underutilization by prospective farmers in the state. However, a few farmers were seen working on some crops. One of the farmers explained the benefits as well as the challenges of the farmers during the dry season. We appeal to the government to assist us in the areas of fertilizer, pumping machines, and pesticides. Between March and April, we are hit by certain pests on this farm, especially on the green vegetables. Many farmers now prefer maize farming only to avoid the pest. The low level of irrigation farming in the state is blamed on poor awareness and cultural stereotypes of the Benue rural farmers.
There's no awareness like that to farmers. And our tea people, if you go to interior villages, they go to farm from morning to evening. So if there is no rain again, they concentrate on the rainy. There are some crops that you will do and harvest during dry season. So for them to continue with it, they will not have that because they have not gone into it.
Most lands at the back of the rivers are owned by people who don't engage into farming at all. The areas are occupied already. There's no point getting there. Most farmers who might even have intention to go there, they might end up not getting a piece of land to farm. Except if government can revisit by way of saying, identifying those who own the land and those who are willing to farm.
According to agricultural experts, the impact of climate change calls for more engagement in irrigation farming as against the traditional cycle of waiting for rainfall.
You know, what this country has done is, should I say, a lot. Benue has been ignored despite the potentials. The irrigation facilities are nearly absent here in Benue. There are none. You understand? Despite the availability of two key rivers in Nigeria here in Benue, you have the presence of River Benue, River Kasanala, and several of their tributaries and other water bodies that are capable of supporting irrigation farming during the dry season. Unfortunately for us, the incentives to go into irrigation farming is not here.
The crops on the farms are mostly vegetables and corn cultivated in small clusters. This is grossly inadequate to meet up with the rising demand, as there is growing need for the government to intervene to boost production.
Several persons are currently missing as the passenger boat conveying people from Yenagoa to Okwaama in Brass local government area of Bayelsa State capsized at Okoroma River in Nembe local government area. The wooden passenger's boat is said to have ferried many passengers and goods from Yenagoa to Brass before it sank in the middle of the river. Daily Trust gathered that parents and husbands who were aboard the ill-fated boats are searching for their missing children and wives. The number of casualties is not yet ascertained, as the rescue mission is ongoing as at the time of filing this report. The chairman of Maritime Union Workers in Bayelsa State, Ipikansi Ogoniba, who confirmed the incident, said that they have already sent rescue team to scene and will get the actual report of casualty when they return. When contacted, the police spokesman in Bayelsa State, SP Asinim Botswat, said the incident has not been reported to the police division in Nembe local government. Airlines on Thursday cancelled and delayed flights out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, following a standoff between the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria and the oil marketers over apron charges. Many passengers were stranded at the airport when FAN restricted oil marketers from accessing the airport to serve their client airlines. Many aircrafts that landed at the airport and needed to refuel could not be attended to for hours, prompting massive flight delays while some airlines cancelled their flights. FAN is alleged to have increased the apron charge by over 200% from 150,000 naira annually to 500,000 naira, which the oil marketers kicked against. Reports, however, say access was later granted to the marketers for 3 hours to refuel aircrafts on ground while they would be sent out afterwards. Airport manager Kabiru Mohammed explained that FAN's refusal to give the oil marketers access was due to the expiration of their apron passes and refusal to renew. Islamic clerics have called on Muslims to rededicate their time to acts of worship as the month of Ramadan draws to an end to enable them earn full reward from Allah. Our reporter in Niger State examines the things a Muslim should do to maximize the benefits of the holy month. The report.
Fasting in the holy month of Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars on which the Islamic religion is built. Therefore, any Muslim who witnesses this month in sound health is expected to fast for 29 or 30 days. Islamic scholars said the month of Ramadan is full of blessings, and any good deed done in this month for the sake of Allah is highly rewarded.
The benefits of Ramadan is something a Muslim needs to put in his mind and always remind himself about always. That's because the Archangel Jibril made a prayer, and the Prophet ﷺ said Amin to that. The prayer the Archangel Jibril made was that may Allah humiliate anyone that the month of Ramadan comes in and elapse without being forgiven his sins. So you find out that when one thinks about that prayer, that tends to motivate one to do more. That tends to motivate one to try to get the best of the month so as he doesn't fall under that prayer, which the Prophet ﷺ said Amin to.
Scholars said part of the activities expected of a fasting Muslim, aside from refraining from eating, drinking, immoral conversations, among others, is to engage in the recitation of the Holy Quran, remembrance of Allah, prayers, and being generous to fellow Muslims.
We need to remind ourselves that there's no guarantee of our life next year. So don't say maybe next year. No, this might be your last Ramadan. So live the best you could. I think these very vital things, these 6 things are very important, that when one takes note of them, inshallah, then he will have gotten the best out of the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
They encourage fasting Muslims to spend much time, day and night, engaging in good deeds that will earn Allah's blessing and mercy.
Prices of food, stuff and other essential commodities have significantly risen in Kano markets as Muslims continue to observe Ramadan fast. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin, who visited some food markets in Kano, reports that a bag of pepper is now sold at about 19,000 naira as against 15,000 naira before Ramadan. His report.
It is exactly 15 days since Muslim faithful started fasting in this month of Ramadan, hopeful that prices of food items and other essential commodities will come down, but in Kano, traders say the reverse is the case.
Well, at the beginning of this fasting, one bag of pepper is between 3,000, 3,500 up to 4,000 naira. But now is between 17,000, 18,000 up to 19,000 naira.
Food items like rice, beans and other basic necessities have now increased to about 20% in this month of Ramadan.
Before fasting, we used to buy beans at lower price. But now during this fasting, the price has actually increased. In fact, most people can no longer afford it because they never thought the price will increase like that. Before fasting, one measuring plate of rice is about between 1,500 to 1,600. But now during this fasting, we are selling it at between 1,700 up to 1,800. So the price have increased, and most people do not thought that this will happen. We don't know why it increased. We used to buy it like that.
People in most major food markets of Kano buy perishable goods for their daily iftar. But the price of especially pepper, onions and tomatoes have significantly increased at the moment.
Well, most people thought that the increase in the price is from us here in the market. Unfortunately, it is not from us here in the market. Even in the village, we used to buy it at 17,000 naira, 16,000 naira. And when you come here to the market, we used to sell it at between 18,000 naira to 19,000 naira.
While they troop in to buy despite continuous price increase, residents are hopeful that things could be better before this year's Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
A group of human rights monitoring agenda have called on the Lagos state government to reopen Chrisland School. The school was closed after an incident involving one of their students.
On the 10th of February 2023, the Lagos
area of the state. Victoria Tokolo sent in this report as presented in our studio.
On the 10th of February 2023, the Lagos state government shut down Chrisland School because of the death of one of their students, Whitney Adeniran, during annual inter-house sport event of the school at Agege Stadium. The incident was a tragic loss to the girl's parents, the school and the state as a whole. However, the human rights group wants the Lagos state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to reopen the school while the court case continues to allow other students attend classes.
However, the human rights monitoring agenda humbly plead that the whole school be opened and other students be allowed to resume back to school.
He said the continued closure of the school with students kept at home is against Section 14, 1 and 2 of Child Rights Law of Lagos State.
Every child has the right to free, compulsory and universal basic education, and it is the duty of the Lagos State government to provide such comprehensive education. 2. Every parent or guardian must ensure that his or her child or ward attends and completes basic school education. Therefore, it is the duty of Lagos State government to direct all policies in a way that will encourage and promote the right of every child in the state to education.
The government has preferred charges against the school and staff, though the school remains closed while the court case continues.
Determined to access quality education, a 22-year-old armless girl in Gombe State, Mariam Umar, defied all odds to secure an admission to study economics in Gombe State University. Mariam, who was born without arms, uses her toes to write and do other house chores. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Undeterred by her condition, the armless-born Nigerian is very passionate about education and is more determined than other Nigerians who have all it takes to access education. The 22-year-old began to write with her toys at an early age as a primary school pupil. I do a lot of things for myself, like taking a shower, makeup, writing and cooking. I attended primary and secondary schools. I copy notes and write assignments with my toys without the support of anyone. Mariam, who sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations UTME, has been admitted to study economics at the Gombe State University GSU. Despite her condition, she is ready to adapt to the new learning environment in the university. I am ready to defy all challenges. One must struggle to achieve anything in life. It is about determination. I will endure all the difficulties to study, inshallah. The 22-year-old is now seeking for financial assistance to register in the university and pursue her career. Girl child education is very important. A lady will educate her children if she is educated. Even if she did not get a job, you can differentiate between an educated and illiterate woman. For Mariam Umar, being armless is never a barrier to her academic pursuit, but rather a God-given talent to be different from the rest.
My name is Mariam Umar. I am 22 years old.
Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The Naira on Thursday appreciated against the dollar by 0.40% in Nigeria's unofficial market as a result of low demand for the greenback by the end users. On Thursday morning, the dollar was trading at the rate of 742 naira, the same rate it closed on Wednesdays against the 745 naira traded since last week on the block market. At the investor and exporters forex window, naira depreciated by 0.10% as the dollar was quoted at 463 naira 75 kobo on Wednesday as against the last close of 463 naira 30 kobo on Tuesday. Nigeria's external reserves, which gives the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the firepower to defend the naira, have declined by 4.63% to $35.38 billion as of April 4, 2023, from $37.10 billion recorded at the beginning of the year on January 4, 2023. The Central Bank of Nigeria plans to remove accounts not linked to the Bank Verification System, BVN, from the financial system. The objective is to clean up the sector and reduce the growing incidence of fraud. Blaise Ijebo, Director, Risk Management Department and Chief Risk Officer of the CBN, said on Thursday that the Apex Bank had been working with the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, to address the growing incidence of fraud in the sector. He pointed out that Tier 1 accounts were top of the list of loopholes cybercriminals were exploiting. A Tier 1 account refers to a bank account that can be opened with minimal or without any formal documents. The account, which can be opened with a passport photograph, has a limit of 50,000 naira deposit and an operating balance of 200,000 and 300,000 naira. And finally, in stocks. At the end of today's trading session, a total of 266.95 million units of shares in 3,651 deals corresponding to a market value of 1.92 billion naira were traded. Compared with the prices of Wednesday, today's data shows 35% improvement in volume, 28% decline in turnover, but 4% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 28.9 trillion naira. Performance of the NGX market indices, the benchmark NGX All-Share Index, pared 24.84 points to close at 52,994.13 points. In the aggregate, 115 equities participated in trading, ending with 9 gainers and 19 losers. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Mwafo.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday told 2 outgoing ambassadors that democracy is still the best option in spite of military takeovers in some parts of Africa. The president received the 2 envoys at State House. There, His Excellency Eustaquio Guarnero Quibato of Republic of Angola and outgoing ambassador of United Arab Emirates Fahad Obeid Al-Tafak. The president assured the 2 countries that the administration will take advantage of mutual interests and continue to improve on the existing relationship. In a statement released on Thursday by the special advisor to the president, Femi Adesina, the president recalled the role Nigeria played in the liberation of Angola, noting that the country deploys its resources to help sister African nations. He underscored that in spite of military coups in some parts of the continent, democracy is still the best option. Quibato thanked the president for being the champion of anti-corruption in Africa, degrading the Boko Haram insurgency group and providing what they described as wise leadership to the country. Now, on the foreign scene, South African authorities say 9 suspected robbers were killed in a shootout with police during a foiled cash heist on Thursday. Police said a police tactical response team traced the group to an address in Sebokeng, a township south of Johannesburg, as the suspects were on their way to attack a vehicle carrying money in the morning. 3 others were wounded and had been taken for treatment at a nearby medical facility. The group was believed to be behind a spate of cash heists on armored security trucks in Johannesburg's Gauteng province and surrounding areas. Mati said 6 rifles explosives ready to be detonated and 4 vehicles were seized at the scene. Robbers often target vehicles transporting cash in crime-ridden South Africa. Earlier this week, 2 bystanders were killed and 1 wounded after they were caught up in a robbery in Benoni, east of Johannesburg, and randomly shot at. Up next is Adeni Ajishafe with sports news.
Athletics Federation of Nigeria AFN has concluded plans for 40 junior athletes to resume camping in Abuja. Athletics Federation of Nigeria Technical Director Samuel Onekeko said the first AFN competition in 2023, the all-comers under 18 and under 19 junior athletics championship trials in Kaduna, produced 40 athletes selected to represent Nigeria at under 18 and under 20 African Athletic Championship in Zambia. Former Nigerian track and field international and world athletics level 1 coach said the event will expose Nigerian athletes to become champions, while adding that the kits for the junior teams are available along with the allowances to be paid. The under 18 and under 20 African Athletics Championship will take place in Lusaka, Zambia from 29 April to 3rd May 2023. And in table tennis, African #1 Aruna Quadri has been ranked as the 11th best table tennis player in the world by International Table Tennis Federation (ITTF) latest ranking. Africa champion Quadri bowed out in the quarterfinal finish at the WTT Singapore after becoming the first African to reach the quarterfinal round of the WTT Singapore Smash. Aruna will lead his African compatriots Omar Assar and Dina Meshref to the World Table Tennis WTT Championship holding from 9 to 15 April at Jianye Sports Center, Shenzhen, China. Aruna maintaining status as the best-rated player in Africa after gaining 2 places up the ranking ladder to be ranked 11th in the world. Portugal-based Taiwo Marti was ranked 96th and as second highest ranked Nigerian. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.